Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. So over the weekend, we went to like a discount warehouse type of deal and we were able to score some really good deals on produce. Now, the produce is not always the best quality, but you can get a flat of strawberries for $10 and we got a flat of blueberries for $12 and then, I think I got some Brussels sprouts, some cabbage and some potatoes too. So just some staples to put around, keep in the kitchen. But the strawberries, like I said, they weren't the greatest quality and I did end up losing probably a third to a half of them just because they were heavily bruised and some were moldy and everything. But I salvaged some, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a strawberry mead today. And then we're also going to check up on the final tasting of the Aldi juice wine. So I'm gonna do that. I'm also going to do a couple other videos for later on in the week. We're gonna make some strawberry, I think we're gonna do some fermented strawberry jam and some fermented blueberries, and there's gonna be some other things too that we're gonna do. So follow along for that. But today we're gonna do this strawberry mead. So anytime I am fermenting a fruit, I like to use this bucket. This is a 2-gallon bucket from North Mountain Supply. And I already have a pound of those strawberries cut up here. And the first thing that we're going to want to do though is, since it's a mead, we're using honey. And this is a 3-pound bottle of honey. I got this from Sam's Club. That's their Members Mark Wildflower honey. I use this all the time. I have really great results with it. So this is what we're going to go ahead and use. And I'm going to put some warm water down here in this first. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get a full 2 gallons out of this, but we're going to try. I'm just putting a little bit of warm water in. That way when I put the honey down in, it doesn't like stick to the bottom as much. And it's warm, so it'll help to melt the honey. I'm going to go ahead and use all 3 pounds of this. Usually when I'm doing a single gallon of mead, I only use the 2.5 pounds. But I'm going to go ahead and use all 3 pounds because I have available space of 2 pounds here. We're going to use most of it anyways. One thing I like to do to try to get all the honey out is once you've got the most of it out, you could take some of this warm water and carefully over a bucket, if you can, pour some of the nice warm water in there, maybe a quarter or a third of the way full. Stick your cap back on and give it a shake. And if you're using the warm water, it helps to melt the honey. This water isn't super hot. I know I mentioned this before, but I'm gonna mention it again. If you have city water in your tap, don't use that. Get yourself some good bottled water. I have well water. I know that the quality of my water is good. So I just use water right out of the tap. There we go. All the honey's out, all 3 pounds in. Now I'm gonna give this a stir and keep my spatulas handy. Everything here has been sanitized. It is all clean and germ-free, so we're good to go. Now, while I'm mixing this up, we can talk about the strawberries a little bit. These strawberries, again, I washed them. I took off all the bad, like icky spots, and I sliced them up kind of like rough. I didn't chop them fine or anything like that because when it's fermenting, it will extract all the flavor anyways. So you just basically need to leave big areas of surface area on there. I am going to be using a couple campden tablets, and the campden tablets are really good when you're using any kind of fresh fruit. You don't really have to use it when you have frozen fruit because when you freeze it, it would kill any little buggies that might be on there. But when you're using a fresh fruit, you just want to make sure you use the campden tablets. That way that there's no germs, bacteria, bugs, whatever. This is looking pretty good and mixed. I'm going to add some more water. Now, I'm going to add the strawberries last. So I definitely want to make sure I leave enough room for that. But I want to try to get the initial specific gravity to be somewhere around 1.1, give or take. I like to err on the side of above 1.1 if I'm doing it, usually not below. Now the strawberries will release some sugars into this brew. It's going to happen. I'm just gonna, let's go ahead and test this first. I'm gonna put this in with the water because then it will stay sanitary. All right. I gotta get my hydrometer out. Okay. Put this in here. And we're just gonna take a really quick reading to see how much available sugar is in this. Whoops. There I go, making messes again. That's all I ever get done doing is making messes. It's okay. Since I'm the one cleaning up the messes, it's all right, I guess. So let's see how much sugar we have in this honey water mixture. See if I need to add. Oh, right. I couldn't have done that again if I tried. We were at 1.1, so that's perfect. I don't want to add any more water. Excellent. So at this point, I'm gonna add my strawberries, I guess. It doesn't matter which way we go first, but I'm gonna add my strawberries. Now I have a pound of strawberries here. I'm gonna have plenty of headspace in this, which is a stark contrast to the last time when I did blueberries. Because when I did the blueberries, it was up to the top of the lid and it just didn't even have room to ferment. It was crazy. So we're gonna go ahead in here and we're gonna do, I'm gonna do 2 campden tablets in this. Again, I like to use these when I'm using fresh fruit just because you just never know. And I have my yeast nutrient here. I'm gonna add, it says a teaspoon per gallon, so a teaspoon is good. I don't have quite a gallon of water in there, just about. Sprinkle that in. This just gives your yeast everything it needs to thrive. There's other organic versions of this. This is what I have, so that's what I'm using. Now I'm gonna go in with my tannins, and it's a quarter of a teaspoon for white wines. This is per gallon. A third of a teaspoon for red wine, or a half of a teaspoon for fruit wine, and that's what I'm doing, so we're gonna go with roughly a half. I'm not dirtying another teaspoon, so we're just gonna kind of eyeball it. I'm gonna put that in there. Good. One other thing I'm gonna use, since this is strawberries, and we all know from making jams and whatnot, there is pectin in strawberries. I'm gonna put a pectin enzyme in there. Pectin enzyme helps to break down that pectin in the fruit. That way your brew kind of clears up a little bit, doesn't stay cloudy, because if you don't add it, it might stay cloudy, which isn't such a huge big thing, but you know, you want it to look pretty. So I'm gonna do a half of a teaspoon, let's see, or 1/10 of a teaspoon per pound of fruit. So I got 1 pound, so we're gonna, oh gosh, I don't know. We're gonna guess what 1/10 of a teaspoon looks like here. I think that's probably very good. I'm just gonna give it one last stir, just to kind of mix everything in before I add my yeast. I kind of feel like I should add more strawberries. I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't throw another pound in. I have more right here already washed and ready to go, and I kind of think that's what I'm gonna do, because I want to make sure that this has a lot of really good strawberry flavor. So I have my handy digital scale here. I'm just gonna put the bowl that I already had those strawberries in, make sure I tear it out. And I have the rest of these strawberries right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get another pound of them. 2 pounds ought to do quite nicely. You start to kind of take notice of things as you're getting used to brewing. So it just doesn't look like quite enough for what I've got going on. One more small one. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and my knife. I'm just gonna kind of make sure that I break these down a little bit more, because these ones I hadn't sliced up the whole way. Just kind of basically quartering them or halving them, depending on how big they are. I'm glad I added the 2 campden tablets, because adding the extra strawberries in there, I'll need it. I think the strawberry mead will be so nice for spring. It'll taste really good. And getting fruit like this, like I said, it's not the best quality. I know I'm growing strawberries out in my garden and they're going to be the best quality. So those are the strawberries that I really want to make the jams and the preserves and the strawberry pie filling out of, because I know that they're going to be outstanding and it's going to elevate the flavor of that. Now, of course, it would elevate the flavor of a mead, but the process of brewing alcohol, making meads, fermenting, is really going to extract the most flavor available out of these. So that's why I think that this is a better use for these store-bought, who knows where they came from, strawberries. And they're not exactly ripe either. Of course, if you can't get fresh strawberries, you can always use the frozen ones. This same recipe will do quite nicely for that. Let me rinse my hands off. Okay, that looks better. And I'm just gonna give them a quick stir around to make sure they're all under the liquid. And this is also good because it's also going to make sure I have less headspace as well. Good. Now the last thing is we're gonna add the yeast. And today I have several different yeasts that I like to use, but this is Lalvin's Bourgovin RC212. So that's what I'm gonna use. You can use a half packet when you're using anything less than 3 gallons, but I have a bunch of it, so I'm just gonna use it. I'm gonna sprinkle it right up on top of those strawberries. Not even gonna bother mixing it in because it will find its way. Actually, I am gonna mix it in since it's sitting on top of the strawberries. Usually if I'm using like a juice or something, I don't bother. So it goes where it needs to go. This way it just all gets hydrated. Now that's also something that we could do, something that I do when I make bread. You know, you hydrate your yeast ahead of time so that you make sure that it's alive, but because I use this yeast often, I know that it's alive. So I'm going to cover this up. You want to make sure you hear the snaps. Sometimes it's kind of hard. I got to fill my airlock with vodka here, but I think it's on. Let me go ahead and look. If you can pick it up by the lid, you're good. Yeah, it's on there. All right, so I know I'm gonna make a note that this is a 1.1 starting gravity, and I firmly expect this to go way, way dry. Make sure I mark the date. I gotta, like I said, add the vodka to the airlock. This is gonna sit, I don't think I need to add it to a lipped tray because I have a fair amount of headspace. The fruit comes to about here, so I don't think it's gonna overflow. Right there. I don't think it's gonna overflow, but I might sit it on a cookie sheet just in case. And this is gonna sit, we're gonna check on it as soon as the action in the airlock comes to a kind of standstill. That's the one downfall of the buckets. When you have the glass jugs, you can really see what's going on, but when you have it in this white bucket, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. So we really have to rely on the airlock to tell us what's going on inside here. But when this airlock settles, I will make sure I give you guys an update on it then. I'm gonna move this out of the way and we're gonna discuss the Aldi wine. And I just want to let you guys know, I told you I was on a mission to make all my own brews. So I have not bought a store-bought wine, well, and in a month's time since I started this little challenge. So I think that's great. I'm saving money. So this strawberry mead, I got that flat of strawberries for $10 and I'm going to make something else with it. So let's just say $5 worth of strawberries. The honey is, I want to say it's 7 something. Let's just call it $8 at Sam's Club. And I will end up with 4 bottles of mead out of this. So you do the math. It's pretty good. Now, I had just stuck a piece of plastic wrap over this because I knew I needed the airlock that was in it. This is a wider mouth jug and I needed that airlock for another project. So I just stuck this over it. It's fine. once it's finished fermenting and everything. I was just letting it settle. So we're gonna go ahead and give this a final tasting. It smells amazing. This was the black cherry plum juice from Aldi, and I'm really excited to try it. Let me grab my glass for a second. I say glass because let me wash this up real quick too, because usually I have this really pretty blue. It's actually a plastic wine glass, which don't come for me in the comments. I know that's not how you're supposed to do it, but I love it because it's just nice and ergonomically, you know, for my hand, it's good. But the glass is going to show you the color of this better. Let me wash this up real quick. I have sanitizer over here. Some people don't rinse it off. I do. Okay. Good to go. Dry off my hands. All right. Let's get some of this out of here and give it a taste. I will be bottling this. I have swing top bottles I got actually from Aldi when they have sparkling lemonades, and they're like a regular lemonade and a sparkling pink lemonade, and they come in the swing top bottles in summer. And so we would stock up on them because the kids like the lemonade and I wanted the bottles. So that's what I usually bottle things in. If I run out, I'll put them in a wine bottle with a cork, but that's what I prefer. Look at this color. I'm gonna come around because you need to see this. Look at that beautiful pinky amber color. Isn't that incredible? It is perfectly clear. I don't know if you can tell, but you can. The glass has designs on it, so you can't really see, but it is perfectly clear. I'm gonna come back around and tell you what it smells like. I'll do a proper tasting here. Don't let me fool you. I've never gone to a proper wine tasting. I don't know how to taste wine properly, but I know how to tell you what it tastes like, so we're doing that. It definitely smells like cherry Kool-Aid. I'm not even kidding. Chase, you want to come here and tell me if this smells like cherry Kool-Aid?
Yeah.
Harley can come too. Think cherry Kool-Aid.
It does.
It smells just like cherry Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
It smells just like cherry Kool-Aid, which is, it's black cherry plum, so that's crazy. Okay. That is so good. It is very tart because it's dry, I think, and because it's cherry, so cherry should be tart. So it really lends to that. You just popped a fresh cherry in your mouth from the tree. And if you think about it for a couple minutes, you get the plum essence, but it's not very strong. It's just a really nice blend. I definitely enjoy this. I think we said this is 14.5% around there. Because of the bright acid note of the cherry, you really don't get punched with a 14.5%. It's just really good. I don't know what else there is to say about it. I mean, if you want to make wine on a budget and you want it to taste pretty doggone good, then give this a try. I think that if you like a sweet wine, this would be a really good candidate to back sweeten. You could use something like erythritol or something like that. If you don't want to pasteurize it, that will be a sweetener that doesn't ferment. And I think that would be a great candidate for that. Even if you wanted to back sweeten it with honey. Now you'd have to be careful. You'd have to probably pasteurize it then, or let it sit a little while to make sure it doesn't re-ferment. But I think it would be, and I don't like a sweet wine, but I think this would actually be very good sweet. Now, and also, this is only 2 weeks old. It's only 2 weeks old. I think the longer this sits, the better it's going to get. But we will never know, because I'm going to bottle it, and then I'm going to drink it, and it's not going to sit for a year. So, unless I have a whole bunch and I end up sticking one on a back shelf somewhere. But I think I will actually look for this on the shelf. Like, I don't think I will This is one that I'm gonna go for. I have my other blueberry wine from before. It was too sweet for my liking, and it's not one that I want to go for, but this one is definitely one that I will be looking for on the shelf. So I'm gonna bottle this up. I'm gonna quick cover it up because I don't want any fruit flies to get back in there. But I am gonna bottle it, and I'm gonna be really, really happy with that. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please stay tuned because I'm going to be making a whole bunch of stuff with this fruit that I bought, and I'll make sure I make the videos for you guys. So I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.